Okay, another day, another doodle. Get that lined up. That looks good. Alright, folks, it's day two. Um, you will have noticed that I'm uploading this technically on day three, mostly because I had a lot that came up on me and I really couldn't upload my drawings or anything, or even this video till today. Um, and then I had to edit and speed it up and do all that. Which you'd be surprised for a lot of these videos. I do have to speed it up a fair bit because the actual drawing process I'm not very fast, not yet. So some of this takes a while. So there's a fair bit of editing that goes into this. Also, like I I, I don't have the camera this close to the screen or to the paper, so I have to zoom in and do all these little jump cuts and all that. So if it's a little jarring, I'm sorry. It's either that or I just let it go on and on and on and on. But at that point, it's about, I don't know, maybe a 40-minute video. Um, so no, I actually had to cut it down. My preferred thing is I would like it if I could have made it like maybe 10 minutes. But I don't know. I have a limited editing software. I edit this on my phone and I record it on my phone, and I use iMovie, and it only has like its speed up is like it's very limited. You can only speed up so much, and at that point you really all you can do is like save it, and then re-upload it into the software with a different as a different project, and then speed it up again, which is really not that good. I would have liked it if I could have just gone a lot faster. But that's limitations in technology. Maybe if I ever download, what's it called, Audacity. I think that's the hip software most people are using. Um, Lord knows I can't get like I think Final Cut Pro is a editing software, but oh boy, that's a that's a pricey bit of software to use. So yeah, this one was a an interesting drawing. I know I really wanted to do something space oriented, and I'll probably do another one. I mean, more space oriented stuff because I'm in a bit of a sci-fi craze these days. Just because I like the whole like black space stuff and a lot of the little like fantasy sci-fi, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean that movie, those movies I should say, because there's two of them now. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so good. It kind of got us away from that whole um, muted, kind of ugly science fiction. You know, the ones that were trying to get all gritty and realistic. Everything had a bit of a yellow or a brown or even a blue filter over it, so everything looked all dark and foreboding, kind of like the sci-fi horror-esque thing or suspense movies. Guardians really changed that and made it more of a colorful, fun space opera. And that's exactly what the science fiction community needed. It's funny you had to go to comic books to do that, but sometimes you have to think outside the box, and I think that's what Guardians offered. And hopefully, we'll see more fun-oriented science fiction in the future. Although, from what I've heard, we're in for more fantasy-oriented stuff, and sometimes that's okay, provided it's done right. I know that there's currently a He-Man movie in the works, which, if you haven't heard, they're planning on making Skeletor like an existential kind of a villain, so kind of like a Thanos in the Marvel universe, and that's really not good. I would not do that if I was. I think it's Paramount. I don't know. I can't remember the studio making it, but no, Skeletor needs to be a personal villain, and he needs to be in like he should be in almost every movie in one aspect or another, because that's how personal this particular guy is. He should never be an existential Thanos level villain. He should be like Loki. It's one of he's a bad guy, he's a villain, but you tend to like him or he's always around. That's the kind of character that Skeletor kind of needs to be. Not a silly villain per se, Just something that you always know is there. Because He-Man, as epic as it can be, it's not a horror. We have to understand it's not like a fantasy horror. This isn't like a Conan kind of a great. This needs to be a kind of a fun, uplifting kind of a movie. Similar to like that's how Superman should have been handled. Superman's supposed to be hope, and as a result, you needed to have a very colorful, hope-filled experience when you see a Superman movie. He-Man's kind of the same way, um, but with a fantasy element and with like various different monsters and yeah. So that's sort of like my opinion on these particular movies. I'm kind of rambling on, but I just wanted to say like fun movies. We need to have a return of fun movies. We've done dark and gritty for a while. I want something fun and uplifting. Um, Guardians was a great start for science fiction. I don't know of any movie coming out that's gonna keep that up. Um, I mean, we're, Fox has been given kind of a golden opportunity. They can cash in on that Guardians craze because in the X-Men universe, there is another team or franchise that you can build on and make your own sci-fi thing around, and that's the Starjammers. Now, if you're not familiar with the Starjammers, which is a very silly name, I know it sounds like a rock band, and in a sense they kind of are when you look at like the way they're dressed. But essentially, I think his name is Corsair, the leader of the Starjammers. But he is literally the father of Scott Summers, Cyclops, the leader of the X-Men, and he is a character who I think he was abducted and then he was trying to get home and then he got caught up in this whole intergalactic battles and all that, and then he ended up doing these and yeah, and then they didn't learn that they were actually related till much later into the comics after like big events and all that. So it was a really interesting little heartwarming story. if if Fox and Marvel wanted to cash in on that, you could have a whole science fiction outer space Marvel universe crossover event, which would be fantastic. Um, and I would love to see something like that. And if I mean Fox also says the Silver Surfer, um, and Silver Surfer is a very different kind of a franchise in that it's kind of like Space Jesus. Um, and yeah, he's kind of a hippie flower child kind of guy who in the comics he tends to talk like he's in a Shakespeare play at all times, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, it sort of feels out of place. But it's in outer space, so it kind of makes I don't want to say makes sense. It just sort of it's a fun aspect of this little space opera that is the Silver Surfer, which is another thing that Fox could do. I mean, they have all these properties. They just need to make them work. And I don't know. Maybe they are talking with Marvel to do a big cinematic universe, and that would be great. I mean, I'd love it if you guys can get Starjammers and Silver Surfer and Galactus in the Marvel MCU. If you can work like a similar deal to what Sony did with Spider-Man, please Fox do that. We need that. We need the X-Men back, or at least something in there. We could just use all it. So yeah. I mean, I can go on for hours about comic books and movies I'd love to see, but for now we'll leave it from there. I'll hope you guys enjoyed me doodling away, and yeah, take care. I'll probably have to do another one later today for day 3, so we'll see how that goes. Take care, guys. Bye.